perfect connection right there.
It's so weird how yours and I are so bad, so misconstrued. Like you, it looks perfect. To me, I was like 2 seconds ahead of you. I don't get it. But anyway, welcome back to the Crowd Chatter podcast, everyone. That's Mitch. I'm Jacob. We're here with NFL picks. We are a little bit on a time constraint today, so there won't be as many explanations for it. But we are This is week 5, week 6.
Yeah, this is week
This is week 6
6.
because it's 1 week behind the college football season. So we're already week 6 of the NFL season. We're starting to figure out kind of who's really good and who's not good. And talking about not good, let's talk about this Thursday night football game to start. We had the barn burner of 12-9 where the Broncos fans were leaving before overtime even started last week. And now we get a great Thursday night game of the Washington Commanders in Soldier Field taking on the Chicago Bears. The Commanders are a 53.8% chance to win. The money line is at even, or the spread's at even. The money line is -110 both ways, and the over/under is 38. There's over/under out here. Mitch, who do you?
This is an easy pick for me. Washington is horrible, and even though the Bears still suck, the Bears are less bad. Chicago is probably running these guys off the field. Give me the Bears.
And they're probably literally running it because I don't think they want Justin passing the ball at all at this point.
No.
I'll take the Bears because I think they're, like you said, they're just gonna kind of run them out because the Commanders, while the Bears are bad, the Commanders are much worse. And now we move on to the plate, starting with the 49ers on the road against the Atlanta Falcons. 49ers are a 53% chance to win. Over/under is 43.5. 49ers are favored by 5.5 points. Who you got here?
The Atlanta defense is a bit of a struggle bus. Their team has actually been a little bit better than I think anyone would have expected. But the Niners are the better team here. While there's always the West Coast teams going to East Coast going to West Coast. How's it going to work out? Niners just went to Carolina, ran them off the field. They're probably going to do the same thing with Atlanta.
That's not that hard. That's not that hard to do, though.
That's true.
Man, imagine being Matt Rule, though. Like, you are getting paid, I think it was like $850,000 for the next per month for the next 48 months. You're getting paid this huge buyout, and colleges are going to be also throwing more money at you.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm Matt Rule, I'm happy to be fired. I'm getting a crap ton of money, and I'm going to get more money if I'm going back to college. But, yeah, give me the better team in this one. Give me the 49ers. We move on to our next game where we have the New England Patriots on the road against the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are a 76.2% chance to win. Browns are a 3-point favorite in the spread. Over/under is 42.5. Both these teams are not that great, but the edge that I'll give the Cleveland Browns is they have Nick Chubb. So give me the Browns in this one. And Jacoby Brissett hasn't been terrible, so he's looked serviceable.
Yeah, Brissett has honestly been solid as a replacement or placeholder for Deshaun Watson. Really, though, this Patriot team, really, I think this is one that either team can win. I'm going to go with the Browns at home. I think they're just a little bit better. They're also the home team. Should be a good game, though.
Do I be controversial in this next pick? We've got the New York Jets going to Lambeau to take on the Green Bay Packers. The Packers have an 83% chance to win. The spread is 7 points. Over/under is 46. I won't overreact too much to the Jets beating the Tua-less Dolphins. They did smack them, though. They smacked the Dolphins last week. They looked pretty. They don't look like an outstanding team, but they've looked like a better team. And I just have so many questions about this Packers team. Also, I have so many questions about that Giants team, though. I still don't know if they're good or if they've just gotten to play a bunch of bums. I don't think the Packers are that good. But I'll stick with the Packers at home in Lambeau.
This will be an interesting one because obviously I don't think anybody would have said at this point that the New York Jets would have the same record as the Green Bay Packers. I don't think anyone saw that one coming. You know, the Jets this season, their 3 wins. I mean, obviously the Steelers haven't looked so good this season, but they've killed both the Dolphins. They killed the Dolphins, and they got a really nice win in Cleveland. Um, I think this is. I'm gonna be the controversial one here. I'm going with the New York sweep. I'll take the Jets to finish the New York sweep of the Green Bay Packers. Probably isn't happening, but we've seen the Jets pull off so many upsets already this season. What's one more?
Doing what I wasn't expecting, doing what I was too scared to do. All right, we've got the Jacksonville Jaguars playing their children in the Indianapolis Colts. Dad's coming to town for the Indianapolis Colts. The Jaguars are a 61% chance to win. The spread is over/under is 42. This Colts team was able to put up 4 field goals on Thursday Night Football. I do not like watching this Colts team. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are starting to put something together. Granted, last week was pretty ugly against the Texans. But you know what happens? They're still a younger team. They're still working on it. But I think they complete the sweep of the Colts this year, and I think they go into Indy and take the win.
I have no idea what to expect from the Indy Colts or from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Honestly, this AFC South division is probably the worst division in football. No, it is not the NFC East. For once, they're off the schneid. They are no longer the worst division in football. It's very much this division. The Jags had a really hot start to the season. They looked really good to start off, and now these past 2 weeks have really been sloppy, with Lawrence being awful against both the Eagles and the Texans. Um, I don't like picking either one of these teams, but I'm picking the home team. I'll take the Colts. Not that I like them, but the Jags have looked really bad these last 2 weeks, and the Colts have also looked bad, but they haven't looked as bad as the Jags. Thus, I'm going with the team that's looked a little less bad than the other. I'll take the Colts in a close one.
That's on to the Miami Dolphins at home versus the Minnesota Vikings. The Dolphins are a 60% chance to win. Minnesota's a 3-point favorite in the spread. Over/under is 45.5. I said I would pick against this team for the rest of the time, and I will root against this team for the rest of the time because I'm still mad at them for what happened to Tua. And not only that, Tyreek Hill was spotted with a walking boot on his left foot. We don't know if that's going to be a thing. He's just questionable. Teddy Bridgewater's in concussion protocol. Tua's obviously out. So they're led by Kansas State's very own Skylar Thompson. And they might not even have Tyreek Hill. Yeah, give me the Vikings all day in that one. I don't care if it's Miami.
Yeah, it is a home game for the Dolphins, but they have a lot of injuries. Also, the franchise, of course, has a lot of problems. But this is a really good Dolphins team. But the Vikings have been really good so far this season, and Miami's got too many injuries, too many problems. Because when you're missing your top 2 quarterbacks and your third stringer is a 7th-round rookie out of Kansas State. I mean, he was good at Kansas State, but as a 7th-round rookie, yeah, that's not a good sign. And they very well could have neither one of them. And as you said, possibly no Tyreek Hill too. They're also missing, I think, a bunch of corners. So just way too many injuries for the Dolphins. It's going to be too much for them to try and beat the Vikings.
And now we move on to the great state of Louisiana, where we'll have the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the New Orleans Saints. Bengals are a 60% chance to win. Bengals are 1.5 points or 1.5 favorites in the spread. Over/under is 43.5. These two teams actually have the same record somehow, and it's mainly because of the Bengals' offensive line. But the Bengals have not looked impressive this year, but I'll probably take the Bengals since I do think they're the better team. But they haven't really impressed me too much this year. That Steelers loss at home is really bad. really bad looking. I mean, you lost to Mitch Trubisky. The Cowboys' loss isn't looking as bad now that Cooper Rush is apparently the GOAT. And then the Jets and the Dolphins after with no Tua and no Zach Wilson. So
They beat the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They beat those two.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't have Tua, so it's not as impressive. Then lost to the Ravens. So give me the Bengals. That really just tells you I'm not impressed with the Saints.
Yeah, I'm on the same bus there. This New Orleans Saints defense had a lot of hype going around it. I thought it'd be really good too. I thought the Saints would have a really good season. They had the offense. Their defense was poised to have an outstanding season, and so far the defense has completely flopped. And their offense has been plagued by injuries again, with Jameis Winston being out. Alvin Kamara was out for a bit. He's back now. And then they're also missing Michael Thomas. They've been missing Jarvis Landry. So once again, the offense is being riddled by injuries, and their defense has completely flopped, which has led to a poor performance so far. Bengals haven't played so well either, but they've looked a little bit better in the past few weeks. They have certainly been a lot better on the offensive line these past few weeks, and they nearly got the win against the Ravens. So I'm 100% taking the Bengals in this one. New Orleans has been a major league disappointment so far. Really, these two have been big major league disappointments thus far. But the Bengals are improving their play as of late. So give me Cincy.
Speaking of the Ravens, we've got the Baltimore Ravens going on the road to MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Giants. Ravens are a 65% chance to win. 5.5 point favorites are the Ravens. The over/under is 45. Do you continue to believe in this Giants team, or have they played a bunch of bums and they're going to get kicked?
Well, the Giants have looked pretty good, pretty solid thus far, and their only loss is at home to Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys, which everyone thought, wow, it's an ugly loss. But now we see Cooper Rush and the guy won't lose, so that's looking like that's not looking like a bad loss at this point. This is really all dependent on if the Ravens blow the game or not, as they are seemingly the new Atlanta Falcons of the NFL, just a better version of it. So maybe they won't blow a double-digit lead this time, but I'm gonna take the Ravens on the road. They could very well get a gigantic lead and then just blow it and pretty much end up losing. But this Giants team, don't know if necessarily I'm believing in them just yet. I mean, they did get a win in London against Green Bay, which is pretty impressive. Not that Green Bay is great, but it's in London, and it is Green Bay, and it is Aaron Rodgers. But I don't know about the Giants just yet, and I do think this Ravens team is pretty good. So I'll go with Baltimore.
Giants, I will give you your due respect if you win this game. I need to see you beat a really good team. I'm still not sold on the Packers. Other than that, you beat the Titans, which, okay, you beat a mediocre Titans team. You beat a bad Panthers team by 3 points, and you beat a bad Bears team. So, I can't say I'm truly sold on you guys just yet, but I'll pick you. But for now, I'm going to stick with the better team in the Ravens. That means we move on. Still in the 1 p.m. slot, we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road against Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tampa Bay is an 80% chance to win. They're an 8-point favorite in the spread. Over/under is 43.5. The Buccaneers have not looked as amazing. Again, they haven't had a lot of their guys, but they just have not looked awesome. Tom Brady's definitely looking like he's 46 or whatever, or 48. However, I think he's 46. I don't remember. I know he's the same age as my dad. But they're definitely better than the Steelers team. So, yeah, give me.
Yeah, this looked like it was going to be a really good game at the beginning of the year, but now this game looks absolutely terrible. Pittsburgh Steelers have been absolutely awful so far this year. And Tampa Bay, as much as they haven't played necessarily great thus far, clearly the better team in this game. I think Tampa, I mean, we've always seen Tampa do this. They've always had a slower start to the season, and then you see by the time they get to like right about now is when they start to, go bananas. We saw that when they won the Super Bowl. They had a slow start to the year, and then they took off. So I'm thinking
Yeah.
it's just probably taking a little bit of some time to develop the chemistry because, like you said, they've been missing a lot of their guys so far this year, a lot of injuries. So I think it's more just a chemistry thing. The more reps they all get together, the more times they get to practice, the better they're going to be.
Yeah. McCaffrey, that the Bills have already inquired about trading for Christian McCaffrey. Imagine if the
Oh
Bills got
boy,
Christian McCaffrey
good
and he
luck.
stayed healthy. He stayed healthy. I would, as a Devin Singletary owner, I would be depressed. Not that I play Devin Singletary anyway. All right. Speaking of that, I was just thinking about that because our next game is the Carolina Panthers on the road. Rams. Now we get to the 4:00 games. LA Rams are a 72% chance to win. LA Rams are a 10.5-point favorite. Over under is 41. Rams, if you don't win this game, I'm going to be very, very concerned for you. Matthew Stafford has definitely not looked great this year. He has a negative touchdown to interception ratio, which is not great.
No.
But the Rams have not looked great this year. But like I keep saying, they haven't looked great, but they're so give me the Rams in this one.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, no Matt Rule now for the Carolina Panthers. He has been ousted as the head coach in Carolina. So there'll be a new head coach come next year. Who knows? But now the Panthers no longer headed by Matt Rule. The LA Rams don't have an offensive line. Like literally, it doesn't exist. I mean, and the Carolina Panther defense is decent. I could totally see the Rams losing this game because the Carolina defense is honestly not terrible. But without having really any kind of quarterback play, as now they won't have Baker Mayfield, they're gonna have Sam Darnold probably starting. If you can't beat Sam Darnold, there is a serious problem. So I am taking the LA Rams to win this one.
Cardinals at Seahawks. Cardinals are a 64% chance to win. Cardinals are a 3.5-point favorite in the spread. Over under 51. Cardinals are the better team, but it's in Seattle, and Geno Smith is a god.
I wouldn't go that far, but he's played well.
What I've been seeing has been the Cardinals started with a loss, then they won, then they lost, then they won, then they lost. And now they're going to win. I don't know. I think the Seahawks have a very good chance to win this football game. But I do think the Cardinals will win. They've looked a bit more impressive. Even if they haven't looked super great offensively. I mean, they only lost by 3 against the Eagles. They only lost by 8 to the Rams, which isn't that great. They got blown out by the Chiefs. They lost to the Raiders, who weren't that good. Give me the Seahawks. What am I talking about? No, give me the Seahawks at home.
Cardinals beat the Raiders.
Yeah, they beat them, but that's at this point not looking very impressive. Is more what I mean at this point. It's not looking very impressive that they beat them. So you know what? Give me the upset. Give me the Seahawks. I don't trust this Cardinals team at all.
Yeah, this is gonna be a really great game. Of course, we have another 2 games that we have to pick. They're gonna be probably way better still than this one.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but this is gonna be a really good game in its own right as well. Arizona has been kind of all over the place. They've had moments in games of where they look like the team that was playing from last year that was undefeated for like over half the year. Then they have other moments where they look like the team that played the second half of the year. So they need to find some sort of a consistency. And as for Seattle, they need to find a defense. Because they've given up like 80 points in 2 games. There's a problem here. They gave up 45 to the Lions, and who were missing half their offense. And then they gave up 39 to the New Orleans Saints, who are also missing half their offense. So, considering that Arizona is going to be mostly healthy for this, and they have most of their offense, Seattle is not stopping Kyler Murray. He's going to have a play day. Whichever league you have Kyler Murray in, you better play him, because he is about to annihilate the Seattle defense. Give me the Cardinals in the shootout.
Okay, So I picked your favorite team, and you picked against your favorite team. You're going against Calvin's rule. You're going against Calvin's rule. Even if it's a team you like, you got to pick them. All right, we go to the game that I'm surprised is not the Sunday night game, but you've got the Buffalo Bills on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are a 56% chance to win. Bills are a 3-point favorite in the spread. Over-under is 54. Give me the dang Bills to go in there fired up to get their revenge game. I think this Bills team, this is the game that they have had circled in their calendars since the end of last season. Once they found out the Chiefs were on their schedule in Arrowhead, they circled that game. I am sure this team is preparing for this game, has been preparing for this game, and is excited to go out there and get some revenge. So give me the most from the Chiefs.
Yeah, this is going to be a fantastic game. Must watch TV at 4:25 on Sunday. Yeah, if you're not watching this game, where are you? Really?
For some reason, because that's what happens sometimes when you have a good game.
But yeah, must watch TV. I'd say even if must watch TV at 4:25 Sunday on October 16th. Easily the best game. I mean, obviously the one right the next one that we're about to do is also very, very good, and also is must-watch TV. But this Bills team, they're unbelievably good. Kansas City has a really good offense, which is why I'm believing that this is probably going to be a major league shootout. It's going to be just like it probably was in the playoffs. But I am taking the Bills. I am also going with the revenge game. The Chiefs' defense has not looked impressive. They have been really shelled by everybody so far this year. They've not been all that special. The Bills actually have a defense. And thus, since one thing is better than the other, I am going with the Bills in a shootout here. It's going to be a really good game. Chiefs are going to give the Bills all they can, but Buffalo is going to come out in a close one.
All right, we're wrapping up here. We've got the Cooper Rush undefeated interceptionless Cooper Rush of the Dallas Cowboys going on the road to take on the Philadelphia Eagles, the last remaining undefeated football team. Yep. The Eagles are 63.2% chance to win. The spread is -5. Over-under is 42. I'm not as sold on this Philly team. I think they're really good. I think they're one of the best teams in the NFC. I just don't have any games that I'm insanely impressed. They beat the Lions by 3 points. They did just beat up the Vikings, and then they beat up the Commanders, but then they barely beat the Cardinals and struggled with the Jaguars for a little bit. I think they're a good team. I just don't think they're the best team in the NFC still. I'm not sold on that just yet. But they are at home. I think Cooper Rush, as much as I hate to say it, I will be rooting for the Cowboys in this game, which is something I never do. I'm only rooting for Cooper Rush. But I think the Eagles end that undefeated streak, and I think all good things must come to an end, and undefeated Cooper Rush will come to an end this weekend.
Yeah, well, one undefeated streak is going to come to the end. Either the Eagles' undefeated season or Cooper Rush's undefeated season. One or the other is going to, or unless Dak Prescott plays, but probably not.
Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, but this is an outstanding game. Huge rivalry. Of course, these two absolutely despise each other. Gonna be an awesome game to watch on Sunday Night Football. We get to hear Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth. You can't get much better than that. This is gonna be a great game. I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not an Eagles fan really, but my one church friend is. I'm not really. I like the Cowboys team is solid. These Eagles, I was really sold on them at the beginning of the year, and so far they have not lost. This is a very good Philly team. They got really good draft picks in. They have a really good team overall. I think they will end Cooper Rush's undefeated season, and they remain undefeated on the year. As next they have a bye, so they'll remain undefeated for a while. They win this one.
And now we go to, how are the Broncos still on prime time? I want a week without the prime time Broncos. We've got the Denver Broncos at the LA Chargers. The Chargers are a 75% chance to win. The spread is 5. The over-under is 45.5. Chargers all day. the Broncos have potentially the worst coach in the NFL. Now that Matt Rule's gone, he's probably the worst coach in the NFL in Nathaniel Hackett. His play calling is awful. His decision making is stupid. And then Russell Wilson is still not found his footing. I don't know when or if he's going to find his footing, but offense at all. Give me the Chargers all day. The Broncos are all in. I'd be shocked if Hackett made it through the season. Because if you have this much talent and your offensive schemes are this bad that you make Russell Wilson look worse than Cooper Rush, if your offensive schemes make Russell Wilson look worse than Cooper Rush, it's Russell Wilson, but I do believe a lot of the struggles are just that offense not well made. So give me the Chargers in this one. I hope Austin Eckler drops touchdowns on you.
Yeah, Denver. I have no idea how this team ended up getting prime time again. After last week, I mean, and the really painful thing is this might end up being another like bad game again because the Chargers just make no sense either. I mean, we've seen this team play up against the Houston Texans, go up by 20 and nearly lose a game. So
that's just the Charger way.
Yeah, there's a very good chance this ends up being just like the Colts Broncos, which it would be so darn painful. But yeah, Nathaniel Hackett. But yeah, Nathaniel Hackett might end up I mean, Matt Rule was not great with the Panthers, but I think he just really wasn't designed to be an NFL head coach. Nathaniel Hackett is just awful. Guy does no idea what he's doing. I could honestly, either one of us could probably do a better job than him. Who even knows? The guy knows how to tell time. I mean, honestly, it's a mess in Denver. I still believe the only reason they hired him was because they wanted Aaron Rodgers, and when they figured out they couldn't get Aaron Rodgers, they got Russell Wilson. So they're a mess. They're not good. They've been awful. Wilson's also hurt. It's not going to work. Give me the Chargers.
All right, there we go. And that is it for week 6 of NFL football. We've got some great games, and then we've got some Broncos and primetime games still. Please tell me, I'm checking week 7. Please tell me that in week 7 the Broncos are not on prime. The Broncos are not on prime time. If they are on the CBS broadcast though, and that is the only game that I can watch on CBS, I'm gonna throw something. I cannot watch this Broncos team anymore. All right, well, thank you all so much for watching. That's Mitch. I'm Jacob. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace.